Against this right back, Charlie, definitely.
There's always just that active red light defending. I think it's like
people deluded. I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Come on.
Don't mind me, people. I'm just drinking Tottenham fans and Tottenham players, specifically Richarlison's tears, people. People deluded. I'm back again. First things first, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night. I hope this week is fantastic for you lot, bigger and better than last week. Hope that was also good. Hope you all enjoyed your weekend. I know we did, Arsenal fans. We turned them Spurs youths packed. You know, it's nothing really in it. You know, we beat them at the Emirates, little 6 points. It's lovely to finally win again at their place since 2014 when Mikel Arteta was a player. First time in my lifetime we've actually done the double over them, people. And also it keeps our away form ticking over. It keeps our general form where Arsenal ticking over. It keeps our great and fantastic record against top 6 sides so far this season ticking over. Complete performance, 2 goals, clean sheet, 3 points. People moaning, crying. You know, Conte ain't got no excuses. I want to hear what he has to say in his press conference, people. And when I'm finished in the gym at this moment of making this video, I'm going to go gym after. I'm going to take time out of my day to drink Conte's tears, people. So it is what it is. As usual, I hope you're doing well and safe. I hope you lot are all in good spirits, people. I hope you lot are all blessed. I hope, you know, this week is great for you lot and you and your loved ones are healthy. Please let me know your opinions on what we're going to go over. It could even be in relation to the North London derby. Please make sure you're subscribing, you're hitting the like button, and you're following on all the socials. Deluded Gooner04 on Instagram and Twitter. Snapchat Gooner04. If you're not going to follow on anything, make sure you're following on Instagram, Twitter, and obviously checking out your YouTube community tabs and turn on your notifications, people. As we know, transfer business. The dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. With the failed pursuit of Mudryk, and you're seeing things come out that Chelsea are giving money to, you know, Ukrainian armed forces and all of these sort of things. It's looking a bit bandilu, if I'm honest with you, but forget all of that. With us failing to get Mudryk, as we always say, the dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. If nothing more, these things are just talking points until people are holding scarves, holding shirts, taking pictures with Edu, Mikel Arteta, Vinay, Richard Garlick, and all them guys at the offices at London Coley. Nothing set in stone, and it provides us with talking points. Now, again, the dream is free, and some of the players, you can check out the headline of this vid that we've been allegedly linked with or doing business for. It could be lit. But enough waffling and rambling. Smash the like button, people. Allegedly, Arsenal are keeping tabs on Napoli winger Kvaratskhelia. We got no chance. It's not that we got no chance, but this is looking like a summer thing. Napoli are difficult to do business with. Look how long they kept hold of Koulibaly, or when you see how he's playing for them lot, you know, who claim they're from Southwest, but, you know, West London, but it's actually Southwest Fulham Road. Boy, you know, how long they held on to Koulibaly. Boy, this guy's getting better and better. He's shown in the Champions League. He showed the other day against Juventus. He's a lovely footballer. His agent always says he was offered around Europe for 10 million and even to Spurs. Boy, anyone who took him would have been laughing. So you've probably got hope of getting him in the summer. He's going to probably cost more than Mudryk. And even though he's only been on the scene for a bit, I think there's more confirmation for what it's worth, because it's only a talking point. KK signed him before manager as well. Lovely footballer. Drifts inside, great dribbler. You know, he's almost like an old school sort of playmaker with the new school goals and assists. He plays with his head up. Very intelligent footballer. A lovely player to watch him. You know, everyone in Europe would love him, really. You know, Napoli, he's just got his, you know, as he finished even unpacking some of his boxes when he moved to Italy. So he's just there. If whether Chelsea have messed up the market or, you know, whatever, because no two deals are the same. If Mudryk's costing 100 million euros, someone that's been on the scene slightly more than him and's confirmed it at a higher level against bigger teams and on a more consistent basis, and definitely now that he signed for Chelsea is a better player, you're going to need at least 100 million to get talks decided. And boy, I think he's worth it, really. I think he's a baller, in it. Like, he's actually one of my favorite ballers around right now. But the dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. Probably a summer thing. Anything can happen. You know, I don't work for Arsenal, but if you don't put the bread down, you can't get him, really. And he's got no real reason to leave Napoli mid-season. And Napoli they've probably got the replacement for him lined up because they know they're going to make top dollar on him. But It is what it is, people. So we've been linked with him, and apparently Arsenal want to sign him as part of a contingency plan as the disappointment over Mudryk. Arsenal could turn their attentions towards the Napoli winger after missing out on Mudryk. After looking close to get a deal done for Mudryk, the Gunners were picked to the post by big spending Chelsea, who offered huge money in terms of fee and wages. For Arsenal, the plan will now be to crack on and investigate other options. And according to 90 Minute, in fact, let's see the article. 21 years of age, has 21 goal involvements in just 20 games. So there's still a lot more he needs to confirm in the game, you know, because isn't this his first season at Napoli? But I think he's more worth the money, man, really and truly. So I've actually got this article, so we can look at that in a sec. But you know, the Georgian star's been a revelation since signing from Rubin Kazan. His form has propelled Napoli towards the Serie A title, and obviously he's impressed in the Champions League, specifically against Liverpool. Allegedly, Newcastle were previously told it would cost around 100 million. I think it's worth it. They're not going to sell him anytime soon, and they'd be silly to, because every game he's going to get better and better and better. And at 21 years of age, last month, Napoli had interest. Well, Napoli were going to fend off interest from Newcastle, and once again, Newcastle were told that they can't get him for 50 million quid, people. They were quoted around 100 million. And apparently, you know, the Serie A side are intent on keeping the Georgian star for at least one more season and are confident of getting him to agree terms on a bumper new contract. So again, you have to put the price down. If you don't put the price down, it's a myth. And he's got interest from Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, and just about everybody probably interested in him. So I'd love it to happen, but whether it will happen is another thing. You lot will have to draw your own conclusions. Arsenal make Barcelona contact over Rafinha and Ferran Torres. Now, allegedly, both have been made available once again with Mudryk. Now, we find ourselves scrambling. Has Edu got a contingency plan? You hope so, because we had to have considered this. So we're going to get linked with a bunch of these players. We were linked with them in the summer. That's obviously followed us through till now, people. Arsenal have made contact with Barcelona to explore deals for Rafinha and Ferran Torres. The Gunners have been keen to sign a winger since the summer, when they initially failed with a bid to persuade Rafinha to stay in England. The Brazilian left Leeds United for Barcelona, also rejecting Chelsea in the process, where we heard Chelsea was his second choice before, but after Barcelona and before Arsenal. Mudryk had been sights had been set on signing Mudryk, but the Ukrainian international is now on his way to Chelsea. He's signed for them, people. They've agreed to pay 100 million euros, with Arsenal refusing to increase their final bid, which ultimately fell just short. With the pursuit of Mudryk slowing down over the past week, sources have confirmed to 90 Minute that Arsenal's director Edu reached out to Barcelona as part of his search for possible alternatives. And I mean, that's him doing his job. Hasn't happened for Rafinha. Rumours Barca would let him go. Got a good relationship with Deco. It takes 5 minutes to pick up your phone and say, Deco, what's the situation? Does he want to leave? Does he not? So we'll have to watch this space, but it's probably a myth. Both Rafinha and Torres were discussed, with Arsenal understood to have held exploratory talks over a number of possible alternatives to Mudryk, which is positive. Now, with their top target headed elsewhere, Arsenal are prepared to step up their interest in other targets to finally address their limited depth in wide positions. I mean, we have to have been scouting wingers for a long time back, from last season through to the summer and now. So there's got to be a whole range of targets, players that, you know, KK from Napoli, Rafinha, Ferran Torres, Mudryk, players that might need a bit of time, but you'd expect them to impact it now, you know, and that could also be extended to, we have been linked with Diaby, Pedro Neto, Yeremy Pino, a bunch of Bowen, a bunch of players, you know, and there has to have been targets that are more at the, you know, lesser known clubs, lesser known reputations. You know, where's that Fernando Torres links gone from MLS, where apparently Edu held talks in December? So there has to be a wide man, whatever sort of profile or their stature in the game's another thing, but there has to be other targets, people. So we're going to get linked with a couple of them. It's easy to link us with that. Obviously, Arsenal fans are desperate to get them winger in and desperate to see some sort of signings after the long failed pursuit of Mudryk, people. But for what it's worth, again, it did come out yesterday. Edu has made contact with Rafinha's agent Deco over a possible January move, people. Apparently, you know, after signing him for 55 million, I don't know if Barca or Rafinha are willing to part ways yet, you know, unless an offer too good to turn down. And for Arsenal, you can't be getting anywhere close to their 55 million. Can you get a loan with favourable conditions, a buy option, decent wages being undertaken, etc., etc.? Who knows, people, really and truly. But that's that for what it's worth. Once again, people, apparently Rafinha targets Barcelona stay after Arsenal register interest, people. He's ruled out a move to Arsenal in the January transfer window, according to reports in Spain. Apparently, Rafinha is back on Arsenal's radar after struggling to make an impact during his first few months at Barcelona. And reports have claimed that the La Liga leaders, who won 3-1 in a cup against Real Madrid last night, would be open to a deal at 100 million euros, 88.6. Makes no sense, really and truly. They'd be making a profit on a player that hasn't really done anything. And I do, obviously, if Arteta and Edu were keen on signing him in the summer, they know how he can impact. They know his strengths and weaknesses. He has played in the Premier League before, so I'm all for it. But Barca, if you're giving them, how can you make a profit on a player that 6 months ago was one of the hottest properties and he hasn't done that and he's 26? A lot of the things that I don't want to see in Rafinha's game, having to relearn football, he's going through a re-education of football at Barcelona. Looks really ineffective. I do think he has the capacity, but looks really ineffective on the left-hand side versus on the right to Saka. Saying that, you could probably make a case for, I believe you should be able to play on both, but left wing kind of looks like open season. If Nelson's fit, if Smith Rowe's fit with Martinelli there, God for if Jesus, God willing, was fit tomorrow and Eddie and Nketiah's form is out of this world, there's also the option of maybe even deploying Jesus out wide to keep Eddie centrally. Obviously, Eddie's played out wide. On the right hand side, Martinelli's gone over there on time. Smith Rowe can play there, and as can Nelson, but it's Saka or bust, in which you could make a case of obviously recruiting Rafinha. Apparently, 100 million euros, it don't make sense. So that's that in it, really and truly. Barcelona would have to make it very clear to Rafinha, in my opinion. He's got to keep it moving, really, and force his hand. Ansu Fati's got injuries, but Ansu Fati, Ferran Torres, maybe even Memphis to pay, you're even more likely to get these sort of guys. I'm just waiting to see us linked with Zaha again, who at 30 years of age, when you look at Xhaka, Partey and El Nene, Zaha wouldn't necessarily block the long-term pathway of anything. Premier League proven. Depending on the deal, it could be a good contingency plan for Mudryk. Not quite the high as bringing in someone labeled the Ukrainian Neymar, but we're going to agenda you now. But you get the point. Apparently, Rafinha's entourage have made it clear that the 26-year-old has no intention of moving clubs in January and wants to see out the season with Barcelona, people. He did come on yesterday as a late substitute, people. So it is what it is, man. In that regards, man. So, yeah, it probably hasn't happened. Apparently, Arsenal, meanwhile, have also been offered Brighton midfielder Leandro Trossard after his falling out with manager Roberto De Zerbi. It's understood that Brighton have already rejected a £12 million pound bid from Tottenham for the Belgium international. His contract is running out to the end of the season. They do have the option of extending it by another year. So that obviously strengthens Brighton's hand where negotiations are concerned. But based on what we've seen in reports, he's a disruptive figure. He's been alienated from training while the door has been made clear. If he falls in line, he can return. That kind of brings the contract stuff out the window. Not saying he's poison, but if there's poison or a negative influence, as we've seen at our club, you want to get them out sooner rather than later. If Leandro Trossard doesn't play and he doesn't perform for whatever reason, then you can't ask for more because he's not doing the business, really. So, yeah, Liverpool and Chelsea seem to have moved away, but apparently they hold an interest. Spurs had a bid rejected. He'd be a decent option for them. And he'd be okay for Arsenal, obviously, without looking at it snooty when you've been linked with João Felix, Mudryk, all of these sort of man. It's kind of difficult to go to Trossard, but he's an intelligent footballer. He's experienced. He can play in multiple roles. It'd be one less player that you're kind of fearful of when we play against other teams. So, yeah, people, it is what it is. And as I said, when you look at all the targets, who are we going to go? Who are we going to actually go for? Like, I tried to write down off the top of my head all the names of players that we've been linked with, people. Previously, Kudus, who can play out wide as well as a number of other roles, Pedro Neto, Nico Williams, Yeremy Pino, Zaha, Bowen, Trossard, Diaby, Facundo Torres, Rafinha, Ferran Torres, Ansu Fati, KK of Napoli. We've been linked with quite a few. We were even linked with Hudson-Odoi, which, boy, forget all of that. So, yeah, it all depends. Apparently, Barcelona won 100 million euros. So that is a pretty open and shut case. They won 100 million euros. The player doesn't want to leave. We were, not that we can keep holding on to this, but we were his third choice option behind Chelsea and Barca. Barca was his club that he wanted to go to. Chelsea had Champions League in August. We're at a transitional period. I think he would have listened to Arsenal. I think there was encouragement from signing for Arsenal. But yeah, and it's just easy to link us with him because his form's well for me. Hold a previous interest. Yeah, and he's been at Barca for 6 months, played 22 games and got 3 goals, people. And he's still adapting to what Xavi's asking for. He doesn't want to give up on that, especially if that's your dream. And Laporte and Barcelona are in no position to ask for 100 million euros, really and truly. So that's pretty open and shut. Apparently, Romano claims agents are offering solutions to Arsenal amid another transfer blow. Fabrizio Romano claims agents are trying to offer solutions to Arsenal, and that makes sense. If you're a decent agent and you've got a half-decent wide man that's a client, and you've been looking at the news and seeing Arsenal's, Arsenal failing to get a winger in, you're naturally, if you have the contacts, you're going to tell Edu, just like football managers, I've got this player, boom, 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 what do you want to do? So it makes sense. Whether they're the right players or another thing, people. So we'll have to see how that happens, people. Arsenal wanted Mudryk as a priority, but they feel they did their best by making a huge bid. Arsenal have been clear in the last 2 years, no bidding wars, respecting the club's strategy, and no panic, as with Vlahovic, Raphinha, and Lisandro Martinez. Lisandro Martinez is a bit different because he said he'll actually join Arsenal if Ten Hag doesn't want him. We're taking around the houses for Raphinha as stated, people, which obviously where Lisandro's concerned, he's at United because Ten Hag wanted him. But I'd say that could have happened. Raphinha was his third choice. Vlahovic, we'll never know how close or how far it was that we're taking around the houses, really, indirectly, just like with Mudryk. So rightly or wrongly, I do like that the club stay true to their principles. Of course, you miss out on players and there's a knock-on effect, and there will have to become a time where we need to do better at getting these bids over the line, selling players, and maybe splashing just that bit more cash. Saying that, though, playing devil's advocate, we have spent cash. It wasn't under these lot, but rightly or wrongly, Pepe were giving new contracts to players. Obviously, at the time of buying Benjamin White, it's not the same, but he had one Premier League season to his name, and we spent 50 million on him, English tax or not. So money has been spent if we're convinced, but we don't seem to like getting into bidding wars. And this is going to come with the territory as we get better and better, and the margins for players that can improve us become better, smaller and smaller. We're going to have to try something. But I do like this, better or worse, really, because we could have bid, we could have signed Lisandro, Raphinha, and Vlahovic, and well, Lisandro's had a great start to life at Man United and is a good defender, but he could have been good or rubbish here. Raphinha could have been better here, or we, like Chelsea fans, we're looking at it like it's a bullet dodged. Vlahovic could have stunk up the place, kind of what he's doing for Juventus. This is their way, and it's working well for them. Mikel Arteta and Edu have made several superb signings, and this team is enjoying an incredible season. Now 8 points clear at the top of the Premier League table. I never knew that. I've never doubted that this Arsenal side can be serious title contenders. They are now the favourites. I don't know about that. I see something special in this squad. I agree with that. And I keep saying the same. For sure, City have the better and deeper squad, but Arsenal are incredible. The team is amazing. As for signings in attack this week, Arsenal will decide on a strategy after Mudryk. There are no concrete talks of any of the players mentioned yet. Of course, agents and intermediaries are offering solutions. Arsenal will take their time. On Raphinha, I'm told he'd really love to stay at Barca as a priority. We'll see if this changes this week. Arteta said in the aftermath of our North London derby victory, smash the like button, offer your opinions. We have excellent players. We want to improve our squad in this transfer window. And I mean myself, the staff, the players, the board, and the ownership were on it. But we will do the deals that we can do and we believe is right for the club. So that's kind of echoing what he said. Arteta has been very bullish since he's been at Arsenal about signings. Again, we're told that he'd really love to stay at Barcelona where Raphinha is concerned, people. So draw of that what you want. Ornstein apparently said Saka, Martinelli, as well as Saliba are in contact negotiations with Arsenal. There's no update or breakthrough on that yet because Arsenal are focusing on the window as a priority and, of course, their title charge. Saliba allegedly said, I'm so happy here. The club is speaking with my agent. The only thing I can do is focus on my football. I'm happy here. What has he said here? That should be a decent little article. I mean, who gives a crap about this Mudryk deal? We can look at it, but I'd rather see what William Saliba has said. Saliba rallies Arsenal for Manchester United revenge mission in title race statement. I just want to see specifically what he said. There's no pressure because we play for that. It's better to have this pressure when you're at the top than when you are down at the bottom. It's better to keep going like this. We don't have to have that pressure. We focus on ourselves. We are not focused on our rivals. We have to keep going like this and stay focused on ourselves. It's never enough. We know we have a lot of games to go. We have to be focused because things can change quickly. He then said, we knew it was a long time since we won here. We wanted to win here and keep a clean sheet, and we did that. We are so happy because the derby is a big game and it was an away game too. We are prepared all this week and we are so happy to finish like that. Conte wasn't. And United, he said they're the only team to beat us and we want to beat them again at home. We know we have a big game this week. We know they beat us. They're the only team to beat us in the Premier League this season. We want to beat them again at home. We'll prepare very good for this game, I think, and I hope we will win in front of our fans. Arsenal's remarkable form has taken many by surprise. He then said, after the summer, when I saw the team and the mentality, I tell myself, yes, we can do something this season. I am so happy here. The club is speaking with my agent and me. The only thing I can do is focus on my football. I'm so happy here. So again, anything can happen. But if we just take his words for it, that tells you there might be light at the end of the tunnel, people, where that is concerned, people. So we'll have to see exactly what's going on there. Not that I care for this Mudryk stuff. I just want to see exactly where Arsenal got done dirty with all these P's. Arsenal had been willing to pay what Chelsea paid up front, but critically, the Blues offered 26.5 million in add-ons, which the Gunners were not willing to match. Apparently, the Shakhtar president has confirmed 20 million of the fee will go to Ukrainian soldiers, while Chelsea have agreed to play Shakhtar in a friendly after the war. So yeah, it is what it is, people, really and truly. His long contract allows Chelsea to spread out the fee to spread the fee over that period in their financial accounts, meaning in accounting terms, they are paying 10 million per year to help them comply with FFP. So yeah, man, and he signed an 8-year deal for 150k a week, higher than what Arsenal were offering. So wish him all the luck, people. Go and do what you're doing, Mudryk, man. You don't look happy though. Sold your soul to the devil, innit? Big up you. Arsenal, well, Man United, Arsenal, and Newcastle interested in Victor Osimhen. This probably looks like a summer move. And then, to be honest, I'd rather KK from Napoli. But 3 Premier League sides, Arsenal, Man United, and Newcastle United are interested in the Napoli striker Victor Osimhen. The Nigerian was on fire on Friday against Juventus, grabbed 2 goals and got an assist. And I mean, so was KK. Napoli savaged them. Some information about the striker situation today, reporting an auction is ready for Osimhen in summer. United, Arsenal, and the Magpies are all interested in taking him to the Premier League in the summer transfer window. And United need a striker. You can make a case for Arsenal getting another one. Newcastle United just signed his out, but maybe. It is stated that because of how much Mudryk cost Chelsea, there's a chance that Napoli asks for 150 million euros from potential suitors in the summer, especially considering the striker's supreme performances in the current campaign. As of now, and we've been linked with him from when he was 17 years of age. He's quite happy in Naples, something his agent confirmed recently. His current contract ends in the summer of 2025. Napoli are expected to find it difficult to use or renew to keep him at the club for a longer time. Osimhen has informed his entourage that he's very focused on winning the Scudetto with Napoli, and he does not want to be distracted by any rumours surrounding his future. So, I mean, there isn't any other real credibility in that, but it is what it is. Away from that, though, people, Xavi of Barcelona doesn't fancy Arsenal and Liverpool target Ruben Neves. Maybe that's something we could look at this window or in next. Arsenal are keen on signing the Portugal international midfielder in the summer of 2023 and are ready to compete with Barcelona for his signature. The Mirror have claimed that Liverpool are interested in Neves and want to sign him this January. Newcastle have also been linked with the 25-year-old, especially as Wolves are struggling a bit. Wolves don't want to sell him. Again, they need all their best players available to help them in the Premier League. Things could change in the summer. Arsenal and Tottenham chase Lisandro Trossard. Let's skip all the way to such people. Well, it doesn't really say anything. Spurs are likely to face competition from Arsenal, have earmarked Trossard as a possible alternative to Mudryk. Fair enough, but if we're just signing someone for the sake of it, I'm not really on it as good as he is. That's not relevant to this. It's for another one. We have previously been linked with Luis Enrique, the 22-year-old who's doing quite well, allegedly, for Real Betis. He is featured in 22 games in all comps, got 3 goals and 5 assists. He signed for 8 million euros. So if he's a wide man and he's done quite well and our scouts are doing their jobs, then he's had to have been flagged on the system. No clue as to how good or not he is. Why Gunners didn't sign Pedro Neto. Arsenal did not want to pay 50 million for Wolverhampton winger Pedro Neto in the summer of 2022. Which, I mean, it could have been all right there, really. So, I mean, fundamentally, he's not at the club. Hopefully, we go back in for someone. Us, as well as Chelsea and Inter Milan, have also been linked with former Haylender Yunus Musa. Hopefully, we can bring him back to the carpet. Allegedly, Romano said, on to other possible targets. A summer move is very possible for Yunus Musa. Into Chelsea and saving the best till last. Arsenal are following him closely, but then it's still January, so let's see if other clubs will join the race in the next months. Did well at the World Cup, doing well at Valencia. His price was around 40 million euros in December, but let's see in the summer. It's too early to say now. So we'll have to see where that's concerned, but bring him home. Arsenal made contact over signing West Ham midfielder Declan Rice, allegedly, says Ben Jacobs, people. Yes, just to collect preliminary information. It's true that Arsenal have him in their sights. Declan Rice, unless there's a sensational twist, will leave West Ham in the summer. Yes, first contact has already happened. When putting down the money is going to be something completely different. We've previously heard comments surrounding that as well, people. And again, allegedly, we're looking at Mudryk. Not sure if any of you lot believe this, people. It is what it is in that regards. We've previously said this as well in relation to Mudryk, but just it glances into Edu and Arteta and the club's thinking for transfers, people. Scrolling down, people. Arsenal have a different approach, but this was the case 1 year ago with Vlahovic. Arsenal didn't want to enter any fight. Same with Locatelli, Martinez and Rafinha last summer when he decided to go to Barcelona and not accept Chelsea or Arsenal. Arsenal are like this. They only go for players that are convinced about their project and only for the right price. They don't want to go for crazy things. This is Arsenal's mentality. Some can appreciate it, but I'm sure there's Arsenal fans appreciating this strategy because, again, if Arsenal are top of the league today, it's because of this strategy. There are Arsenal fans, of course, that are disappointed because I can understand the excitement when you sign a top player like Mudryk, so it's normal to be disappointed. But I think the reality we have to say is that Edu, the board and the owners and Arteta have always been very clear. They do things when they feel it's the right thing and not overpaying or overreacting. So with that being said, that appears that that's all there is in the transfer market. Please let me know your thoughts, your views, your opinions, your talking points, etc., etc., etc. Don't forget to hit the like button, check out the rest of the videos and turn on your notifications. Shortly after this live stream, by the time it comes out, I'm pretty sure I'll be going live with you lot to talk transfers, to speak about Arsenal's win against North in the North London derby and any other talking points. And I think I've actually dropped a tactical review video for you guys as well. So make sure you're having a butchers as well as checking out the reviews of the game and things. So yeah, as I said, like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, stay blessed, stay safe. People, I'm out.
There's always just that active red flag defending. I think it's like